I'm Josh Martin. I am Managing Director of Andun Engineering Consultants. We are a engineering consultancy and we specialise in demolition and temporary works engineering. That's a very long sentence, but essentially we just help people build stuff and we help people take stuff down if they're demolishing it. Okay? That is the world of temporary works. It is something that is put in place, it's an engineered solution to enable us to build something or to remove something which is in that temporary state. So as such, we get involved with a number of things like facade retention schemes. They're the big sexy ones that you see along large fancy looking facades holding up the sides of buildings. We get involved with pre-weakening of structures which lead to exploding structures and falling down. They're the big kind of high profile sexy ones which everyone loves to see those videos on LinkedIn or YouTube. But that kind of is the top end. We also deal with boring things like cabin-based foundations, fences, these kind of security measures that we need as part of the bringing the project to life. So it's a top to bottom bit from nuclear decommissioning works, marine works, industrial demolition. We're going to go through a number of our capabilities today, but a key role of ours, I would say, as I put it in big bold letters there, solving problems associated with building or demolition. That's kind of what we do. So I'm Josh Martin, I'm Managing Director of Andun Engineering Consultants. I've also got James Dunlop here as well, who is an associate with the business, been with us a number of years, 12 years, is that good? And is the manager of our Nottingham office, but more on that in a little while. Okay. So I'll hand you over to James, who's going to take us through more of our office locations and why we're opening an office. So over to you, James.
So, as you can see, we've got 4 offices across the UK. So we've got an Edinburgh office, an East Midlands office, West Midlands office, and our head office is in Chelmsford, where both me and Josh started the company back when there was only 4 of us at the time. So we've expanded pretty dramatically over the last 10 years, but we've expanded in a controlled fashion to make sure that we don't lose our key drivers as a company, so quality and making sure that we do what we say we're going to do and when we say we're going to do it. So we've not expanded as quickly as we could, but we've expanded in a controlled fashion to make sure we don't lose those key attributes that are what Andun are about. So the East Midlands office. So the East Midlands office actually has been going for about 4 years, but we are now moving premises to a new premises, which is going to allow us to expand further. So we've got more room. We are currently in a shared space with another company called Construct It. They specialise in prop installation and fabrication. They do like you see a tower crane grillage. They do a lot of fabrications for those sorts of things. So it's a very good company for us to have a relationship with. And we've got obviously a very good relationship. We're still going to have a hot desk in their office so that we keep that relationship ongoing for when we're working on their projects. But yeah, it's basically to allow us to expand. It's giving us better transport links near to key clients, and it's enabling us to have client meetings in our own space. So yeah, I'm going to go through some case studies in the Midlands, because it turns out we've been quite busy already. So this is over the last sort of 3 to 4 years. These are the sort of Midlands or Nottingham specific based projects. So I'll just go through it briefly. So this one here is a tower crane at the Nottingham City Hospital at the minute. That's we designed the base for that. There's 2 tower crane bases that we designed on King Edward's Court, which is in the middle of Nottingham, around the corner from here. Indigo building, I'm going to talk about that briefly in a couple of slides' time. Basement propping scheme, plant assessment, a few other items while we're there. So this is the actual location of the office. So we're slightly out, but very good bus links into Nottingham, etc. Nottingham Island Phase 1. So there's 3 tower crane bases on that site, Bowman, Kirkland job. There's working platforms, quite a few other bits and pieces that are interesting. The new Nottingham footbridge, that's about to happen. We are doing currently the Cat 3 checks for the foundations for the temporary structures, and also for the very large crawler cranes to lift it in. Green Street, Nottingham. That job is complete. I think it's called Barn and Building now, if anyone's aware of that. So we perform the CRE, CEM role, did the piling platform, the form Ts, tower grade base, mass climbers, similar sort of thing. Station Street, there was a capture check from the tower crane base there, which is across the other side of the road to the station from that job. The Broad Marsh Centre, I've got a few slides on that shortly. That was a few years ago. We had quite a lot of involvement in that scheme prior to Into going bust. There was obviously a lot of temporary works because of a massive cut and carve job until everything stopped. So we did a lot of work on that at the time, but I'll talk about that briefly down the line. And the Needham scheme of pavement, some truss propping for the QMC hospital, a couple more tower crane bases, again more tower crane bases. There was an emergency job in High Street Green that required us to install some temporary propping for dangerous structure. And yeah, that's a summary of the local projects specific to Nottingham. I'm going to talk in detail about a couple of those now. So Broadmarsh Shopping Centre. This is the Google Maps image of that structure now. When we started looking at it, obviously it continues way over here, and then it goes up to there, the footprint of the structure. So it's a massive shopping centre, 2-storey high building with their delivery areas on the roof, and I think the columns were, it was on 11 metre by 11 metre grid, very heavy concrete structure, and we did a lot of assessments of that structure to get cranes on it, etc. With the idea of a large cut and carve job, there's quite a lot of constraints as well, so there's this path here that had to remain open whilst they were doing all the works. But I'll go through that in more detail here. So I'm only going to go through the tender pack because there was probably 40-odd jobs we did there. So on this scheme, it was for Coleman and Co. We aided them, provided tender drawings for them, which enabled them to win the job, and then we went ahead and did detailed designs. But I'm just going to give you an example of the tender drawings for the scheme. So these are the areas that had to be demolished, the red and the green hatching on the roof slab. The methodology for these areas is what we came up with, and depending on constraints of the structure, parts of it we went for cranes, and parts of it we went for a custom gantry system that was to remove the structure. So here's an example of what the extracts from the tender drawings that show the custom gantry, how we envisaged they would move sections of the slab. So essentially quite a large A-frame gantry beam picking it up and sliding them along some rails, and then the slab will be processed off to the side with a large excavator, which obviously we have to prove we can see on the slab as well. And after we'd taken the slabs out, we were left with these long, thin beam, well, very large beams actually, but we devised this arrangement to pick them up sequentially and slide them along in a similar fashion to enable them to be removed. Those obviously have to be brought. And here's an extract from the tender drawings from how we envisaged the crane positions to work. So at tender stage we had to prove the concept, as it were. So we still had to do enough to know that this was a viable option. And I think there was, for a variety of reasons, there was lots of different constraints that became clear after they won the job as well. So they used this in parts of quite a variety of other schemes to demolish the structure in the end, but it was or part demolish it. It's obviously Into and bust in the end, so all for nothing. Bendigo job. So this is the Bendigo building, or was the Bendigo building, it's now demolished, which is based just around the corner from here in Nottingham as well. It's set so there's a basement, and the road levels all changed. So on one side there was a single-storey basement, on the other side was a double-storey basement. We were tasked with designing the basement propping scheme to enable them to take that out after they demolished the structure. basically the previous floor slabs of the basement acted as struts against the exterior walls. We designed our own sort of custom proprietary system almost for this, so to enable reuse. So our client in the brief said they wanted a steel fabricated solution that could be reused, which offers the ability to design a customizable system, not dissimilar from an R&D or similar system, so that we could reuse the whole thing. We designed it so that there were UC wailers on the walls. The top connection we used is what we call the witch's nose. So it's like a big pin at the end that you put in loose just below the radius, and then connected the base plate up, and then using the system you could jack it so that would push it into place, which enabled them to construct it in a very easy fashion. Relatively easy fashion. This job is two jobs next door to one another in Derby, both different clients, but we were the temporary works engineers that did all the demolition sequencing on both, which I think amused the overall client at the top, because we had prior knowledge of both structures when I started with the second one as well. So the Pennine Hotel, the structure, and the house, which is that structure there. Big podium slab here, and then it was sort of a concrete podium slab and then a gravity structure above there, masonry gravity structure, whereas this structure was a reinforced concrete structure with rib slabs. I'm just going to go through that one in slightly more detail because it's quite interesting. So the Pennine one was relatively straightforward in terms of the demolition, or from an analysis side. But from an analysis side, this structure, which is got a very convenient Google Maps image of, partly through demolition, was a bit more complex in terms of analysis. The issue was the building here. So it's a long and thin structure, the core at each end, which offers stability. But due to the neighbouring structure here, we had to take down this end of the structure in advance, so that when the high ridge came in, there was no possibility of damaging the neighbouring building. But to take that down in advance meant that this core had to do all the work, which we checked, and essentially it wasn't capable of. So we designed a temporary bracing system that went in halfway along the structure, which is there, which was sacrificial. We just used Dewey-Dag ties, so it was pretty lightweight, and it enabled them to do the top-down demolition, which obviously plan assessments, that sort of thing, we had to carry out. And they did the top-down demolition, and then they worked through the structure this way, which you can see from this, like I say, perfect Google Maps image.